Hello, everyone. Welcome along back to the golf show this week with Simon Dyson, six-time European Tour winner and a winner on the PGA Tour, if you like, last week as well, because he picked out Sam Burns at 14-1, winning the Sanderson Farms Championship. Well done if you were on with Simon. That was a good week, wasn't it?
Good week. I reckon that's about my sixth win on here as well, with players that I've picked. So yeah, I was pleased with that one. I mean, he was going into it in good form, but you've still got to do it, and he did it. So no, I was pleased to pick that one.
Yeah, he's really improving, isn't he? I think he's top 20 in the world now, his second win in the last year. And he was one of the favourites going in, one of the highest ranked players in the field. But it's nice to see when you are in that position, you can go on and win and finish the job off, because that's the sort of thing that really progresses you to the next level, doesn't it? Winning the events that you should be winning.
Yeah, it's funny as well. If you went around most of the golf clubs around in England and said, have you heard of Sam Burns? I reckon there'd be a lot of guys haven't. But the fact that he's top 20 in the world, I mean, he's a world-class golfer. I mean, we've obviously spoke about him a few times, so you kind of keep your eye on him, and he is a really fantastic golfer, and he wins well as well. So, yeah, when you're favourite for a tournament, it's always pretty hard. There's that extra little bit of pressure. Some fold from it and some thrive on it, and he clearly did the latter.
Yeah, it's another young American who didn't make the Ryder Cup team, but in a couple of years could be another one of those that takes a point off Europe.
I mean, they just keep churning them out, don't they? They just keep churning them out. So I think, again, like we spoke about last week, there's something, I feel something has to change in Britain and Europe for bringing through young kids like they do in America. Because, like you say, it's just another one to their list.
And how he did it was really impressive as well. We were looking at the stats. His strokes gained tee to green, nearly 15 strokes on the field. Obviously first in that category last week. But he was 57th in putting, nearly losing 2 strokes on the field on the greens. And he still managed to shoot 22 under par. That takes some doing.
I mean, when you're gaining 14, 15 strokes on the field, tee to green, I mean, he must not have hardly hit a bad shot. He must have literally ripped it down every fairway and hit it in pretty close. Because when you're not on with your putting like him, well, I'm not saying he's not on, but when you're giving yourself that many chances and not converting, to still shoot that many under par is really impressive.
Yeah, you enjoyed that definitely, didn't you, last week? So well done. Another winner in the bag. Hopefully some more this week. Before we move on to this week's events, there's a quick word on Danny Willett as well, winning one of your favourite events, of course, now joining you as a winner at the home of golf at St Andrews in the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship, winning on his 34th birthday. It's his 8th win on tour. He just turns up nowadays out of nowhere and wins these big events, doesn't he? He's brilliant in contention.
He's brilliant. I mean, it's a great win for the lad. Really is. On his 34th birthday. I thought he was older than that for some reason. I feel like he's been around for ages, but he has. I mean, he came on tour pretty young. But yeah, stats showed that he hadn't been playing great. His form's been okay. And then, like we always say, these lads come back from America and they play in Europe and they win. And what a win for him. Great win. It is a special event. And we were looking at the last 4, 5, 6 tournaments that he's won. He's won 8 now, but the last 4 or 5, and they're all massive events. Wentworth, Masters, Race to Dubai, things like that. They're big events. So clearly he's kind of the European version of Brooks Koepka, dedicates himself to the big events and wins them.
Yeah, turns up, and as I say, the bottle that he has in contention, you're not worried if you're on him going down the stretch. He always seems to pull it off. So well done to him. And of course, he was this year's Betfred British Masters host as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Danny again, congratulating him. Right, let's move on to this week then. And we'll start off with the European Tour, and it's the Open de Espana, the Spanish Open, if you like, back after a year away due to COVID, of course. And well, it's a long-standing event. It's been there since 1912. It's been on the schedule since the tour began in 1972. And the big thing this week is that the world number 1, Jon Rahm, is there, Simon. He's a defending champion. He's won the last 2 editions of this. He's going to be very short in the betting. But nobody's won it 3 times in a row, so he's desperate to do that. And if he does win 3 of these events, he'll join Seve as a 3-time winner as well, his hero. So a lot of motivation for Jon Rahm to come over and win this event, and he will be very short to do so.
Yeah, fair play to the lad for coming over. He could quite easily have just stayed in America after the Ryder Cup, but he's driven by success. And to join his hero in winning it 3 times would be a massive feather in his cap. So he is clearly the favourite. He's the one to beat. I do think, you know, he will probably win it. You know, there's every chance. But, you know, it's quite a fiddly course. It's not that long, so it's not really playing into his strengths, although on a lot of holes he won't have to hit driver. He did
win here by 5 shots last time he played it as well.
Exactly. So, you know, we all associate John Rahm with hitting it 330, 340 yards. But actually, statistically, one of the best parts of his game is between 50 and 80 yards, which if he gets it in position off the tee, he'll have quite a few of those shots. And if he's knocking them close and birdieing them, like you say, won by 5 shots last year. So he is the man to beat.
And with all that length on the PGA Tour as well, he is statistically one of, if not the most accurate of the big hitters as well, isn't he? So his total driving, his strokes gained off the tee is superb, isn't it? So yeah, we will make him very short this week, no doubt. We haven't got the prices just yet, but I wouldn't imagine he'd go off at maybe 3-1, something like that. So we will see. But let's have a look at the course before we get to your selections. Then we're playing the black course at the Club de Campo de Villa de Madrid. And you've played a couple of events here back in the day, Simon.
I did. I remember it quite well, actually. I remember it being quite fiddly. I remember when Raphael Jacquelin won it and Charles Schwartzel won it as well. And I played those events, and there's some really lovely holes. It didn't quite suit my game. It's quite undulating. As far as tee to green, it did, because I was always pretty accurate. I could never get the greens sussed, though. They're quite undulating, and I could never get them sussed. But it's a really nice course. It's a nice place to play in Madrid. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of birdies made. Like I said, the greens are quite small. And if you get it on the correct level on the greens, you know, there's a lot of birdies to be made.
Yeah, it's a short track as well, isn't it? And in benign conditions, it always tends to yield low scores.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's only 7,112 yards, par 71, above sea level. Ball's going to fly a little bit further. And yeah, it does. It warrants good golf, you know, because the fairways aren't wide, the greens are small. So it really gets you dialed in. And you find yourself hitting a lot, you know, when you're hitting to massive greens, you know, you've got a bit of leeway. Whereas when you're hitting to a really small target, you have to get really dialed in. So good iron play this week, short game, you know, you're not going to hit every green because the small greens, and obviously converting those chances.
Okay, good stuff. Let's get to your selections then. How many have you gone for this week, and who's the first?
I've just gone for 2. I just want to mention like Rafa Cabrera Bello as well. You know, he's come back to play in his home event as well. And we see, like I said, about the trend about guys coming back from America to play in Europe and winning. So again, I haven't gone for him, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him do really well this week. But my first pick is a Spanish guy, and it's Alejandro Canizares. Again, I've played a lot with Alex, and you know, the last 9 years, he's finished 2nd, 3rd, and 7th, obviously at different courses. He finished 3rd in the Dutch a few weeks ago. His approach play is good. He's 22nd in the stats, and his putting's very good. I always remember that about him when I played with him. He holds out beautifully, and he's 22nd there. Home soil, home advantage. He'll know this course like the back of his hand. So, again, he's one of these players that, you know, just kind of goes along steadily and then all of a sudden he's in contention. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he was contending this week. Okay,
Alejandro Canizares, the first one for you. Who's the second?
I've gone for the 2015 winner of this event, James Morrison. He didn't win it at this event, but he won it at El Prat in Barcelona. And it's quite a similar course. You've got to do all the same fundamentals well, get it in position, good approach play. Again, short game and putting. He's 28th in scrambling. His short game was always very good. He's got good visualization of shots, 35th in putting, and he's just really consistent. And, you know, he's had a win here, he's had a second, and he's had a fourth at this tournament. And his other win was in Portugal. So he clearly likes this part of the world.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be a good thing for him because he's coming on the back of a few miscuts in a row, isn't he? But going now to Spain for 3 weeks, and it'll be 4 weeks of Portugal on the back of that. This is probably his time of year, his time of the season to really shine.
Yeah, and I know we look at form, but we see it so often, somebody missing 3 or 4 cuts and then winning. I always remember Tony Finau when I think he missed 9 cuts in a row and then won. And, you know, it happens. It happens. Obviously, you want somebody who's going in with a bit of form, but golf is such a strange game. Somebody can just come out the blue who hasn't had much form. And, you know, he's won twice and we know what he's capable of.
Okay, good stuff then. Those are your two, Kenneth and Morrison, for the European Tour event. Let's move on to the PGA Tour this week. It is the Shriners Hospitals for Children Open, and we're off to Las Vegas to what is a bit of a birdie fest in the desert, isn't it? It was established in 1983, and it's been held at the TPC Summerlin for quite a while now. And it's not a big event, really, because at the position in the calendar, the wraparound season, but actually got a decent field this week. Got the likes of Koepka, Casey, English, Hovland, all the Ryder Cup players there. Some rest of the world players as well, the likes of Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama as well. So it should be a good week.
Do you know what? It'll be a great week. I like watching tournaments where there's a lot of birdies to be made. You know, a lot of people say to me, oh, I like to see the pros struggle. So it makes me feel like, you know, a bit normal as well. But I actually like to see them making loads of birdies. I like to see good shots rewarded. And this is a course, you know, fairways are pretty wide. You've got to hit the fairway to have the control on the green, but the greens are wide, you know, not that undulating. And like I said, it's 7,255 yards, par 71. That's quite short for the USPGA. So, and 20 plus under normally wins it. So we're going to see a lot of birdies and a lot of eagles probably.
Yeah, it's all about just hitting it close, isn't it? Your approach play and making sure that you convert a lot of those chances, Simon.
Yeah, always. And the fact that the greens are that little bit bigger, you can actually fire more at some of the pins. And there will be, you know, there's always days where they put the pins to help the guys. So they want to see 62, 63s, scores like that. And I'm sure we will. Okay,
good stuff. Let's get to your selections then. How many in this one?
I've gone for 3 with this one. My first one is Abraham Answer. Really like this kid. Does everything very well. Finished 4th last year. Finished 4th 3 years ago as well. Tee to green is 28th. Approach is 23rd. Putting is 29th. And total strokes gained is 15th. They are just solid stats. We know what he's capable of. You very rarely turn on the TV and see him in trouble. He's normally on the fairway or on the green putting for birdie. So obviously the scrambling stat isn't there because I don't think I needed it this week. But just an all-round world-class player.
Yeah, and he won his first title, a big one, didn't he? The WGC St. Jude not too long ago as well. And it'll be interesting to see how he can kick on now this season, going into his first event of the new campaign. So Answer, yeah, he'll be very fancied. I imagine this week. Who's the next one for you?
I've gone for Joachim Nijman. Again, had a fantastic 12 months. I think he's missed 1 cut in 12 or 13 months. You know, last 3 years round here, he's finished 10th and 13th. Again, stats are just very consistent. 32nd tee to green, 49th in approach, 47th in putting, 21st total strokes gained. Just does everything very well and a very, very consistent player. I think he's won once and he's been beaten a playoff twice as well. So, you know, he could have easily converted those into 2 more wins and then he'd have 3 wins. And, you know, he's still pretty new and just a really nice player.
Yeah, I like both of those. I think you picked those quite a few times, haven't you? 2 of your favourites on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I know I've picked Answer before, definitely. But look, yeah, really delving into Nijman's stats, you know, it won't be the last time he wins, put it that way.
No, very consistent. Okay, those 2 up first. Who's the last?
I'm going to go for a Vegas born and bred player here, Scott Piercy. Again, he's one of those guys, you don't see him like contending week in, week out, but he's just a solid all-round player. We were saying before, weren't we? You know, he's not a journeyman. He's way better than that. You know, if you were his caddy, you know, you'd have a good job because just grinds it out, does everything well. Last 10 years, he's had 4 top 10s around here. Tee to green 18th, which is a great stat. Approach is the biggest one for me. He's 84th, but the greens are so big, I think you can kind of get past that. Putting 32nd, I know he's a good putter, but it's the total strokes gained is 11th. So he just does everything very well. And he's a fierce contender, you know, coming down the stretch. You almost wouldn't want to be against him because he just battles it out and he never gives up, which I like about him.
Yeah, 4-time winner on tour. Hopefully he'll be a 5-time winner. And he'd love to win this event, wasn't he? His home event. So yeah, fingers crossed for Scott Piercy. Might be a nice price this week. All right, I like it. We've got 5 selections then across the 2 events. If you could just pick one out, as we always say, what would be the best bet? It was Sam Burns last week.
I'd have to go Answer, I think. Okay. Either Answer or, don't know, I've just got a sneaky feeling about Scott Piercy. But I'll go Answer.
Yeah, okay. Very consistent, as we said. And yeah, no doubt he'll be near the top of the leaderboard this week. Fingers crossed at the very top. All right, thanks, Simon. As always, got a good week to look forward to. Next week, we're staying in Vegas. So the PGA Tour got a massive event, the CJ Cup, which is in Vegas nowadays. And all the top Ryder Cup players are there because there's lots of big bucks on the line. So that's why they're staying in Vegas. And then in Spain, on the European Tour, the Andalusia Masters at Valderrama, always one of my favourite tracks, Simon.
Yeah, and mine. Love that place. It's, yeah, again, you have to do everything so well around there. I mean, you can be in a fairway and have no shot whatsoever. So it's all about positional play off the tee for me around there.
Yeah, cannot wait for it. And I think course form in particular is always very important, isn't it? So we'll be getting stuck into that next week. All right, Simon, thanks once again. Good luck with your selections. Congratulations for a final time as well with Sam Burns. Hopefully plenty of you followed Simon in and backed him this week. And hope, fingers crossed, we'll get another winner out of him this week as well. We'll see you next week. Best of luck if you're getting involved on the golf.